Top of the hour, Cinekyd Day continues with a third big hour. This particular hour is sponsored by our friends at the Frontier Beef Company. We appreciate their support. With me in the studio is a most distinguished young guest. And before I speak with Ian, I want to say something that I said to him very briefly while we were running some tape. It is the student membership who sort of determines who will be invited to be guests on the Cinekyd Day program. And some time ago, many of them asked if we could see whether or not Ian would be available to come and be with us. And I think if you haven't been watching the news, if you haven't been reading the newspapers, you probably are not aware of the fact that here is a young man who has set for himself a rather remarkable challenge. And Ian, 16 years old, from Lafayette Hills, student at Colonial School. What was it you've decided to do? And you've probably said this a million times, but once more for our kids' audience.
Well, I decided that I was going to run for district justice and become the youngest judge in Pennsylvania.
That's fantastic. What did you discover that led you to assume that a 16-year-old could qualify for the position?
Well, I learned about the qualifications, and I realized that I fit all the qualifications. I did research, I talked to other district justices, I found out what the job was about, and I realized I can do this work, and there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to if I can get elected.
All right, you're 16?
I'm 16.
Okay, and what grade are you in?
I'm a junior at Plymouth White Marsh High School.
Okay. Ian, how do you characterize the duties, or what does a district justice do?
Well, a district justice is the first level of the court systems. What they do is they decide civil cases up to $8,000, motor vehicle violations, landlord-tenant cases, and also they determine if there's enough evidence to go to a criminal case.
Okay. Is this your first foray into the world of politics?
Well, I've been around politics for a long time through my father, who's run for governor and other offices. And this is my first attempt to go out for myself and see what I can do.
And has it been an experience for you?
Definitely an experience. It's a lot different than what I expected. I expected things to be a lot easier. I didn't expect people to come at me and try and knock me down as much as they have. But my message to them is it's not that easy.
Okay. Why do you think that there were exceptions to your candidacy?
I guess people they have these misconceptions that just because someone is younger than somebody else that they're not as qualified, and I don't think that's the case. It's clear that I have a right to run, and the Supreme Court said that yesterday, so I'm going to, and I'm going to.
How did you feel when the Supreme Court reversed the lower decision and said, indeed, this young man is a viable candidate?
Well, of course I was.
From a personal standpoint.
Of course I was happy, but actually I wasn't as excited as people might expect, because I expected to win. I was confident that I would win. I was sure that I would win, and it was just like I knew it would happen, and it finally did. I'm glad the waiting's over.
That's fantastic. How would you anticipate, since you are absolutely certain that you are going to win, okay, let's jump ahead now, and you've won. How are you going to balance the demands of your office with your education?
Well, the hours of the office are flexible. They're determined by the district justice himself. I know school is a top priority to me, and I'm going to do everything I can to finish school, and I'm going to go as far as I can. And there is a time period from the time you're elected to the time you take office, and hopefully I can use that to my advantage. So I can finish school and have that over with, and then go to my office, to my bench.
Okay. Where did the idea come from?
Well, it's my idea.
Seriously, you researched it, you said, but...
See, I was in a history class, and we were going over the requirements for the Senate, and then we got to the Supreme Court, and there was no age requirement for the Supreme Court. And then I started to wonder, is there age requirements for judges? And there's really not. Most judges, you have to be a member of the bar, and district justice, you don't. There's a course that you have to take, and you have to pass that course, and I'm confident I can be able to pass that course when I win.
You said that some of the adults, the assumption I'm making is that some of the adults who would be running against you were not supportive of the idea. How about some of your friends, Ian? The people with whom you associate, were they encouraging, or did you run into with some young people, you know, you're never going to do it, or that's just not a realistic goal?
I think right now, no matter what happens in this election, I have won just because the young people are enthusiastic about everything. They're very encouraging, coming up to me, asking how they can help, and they're starting to get more involved in our system. A lot of the people, and I'm almost embarrassed to say, didn't even know what a district justice was, and now they do, and now they're aware, and now they want to see where else they can get involved. So
That's fantastic.
It's really great. I love the results.
I want to, as we conclude this interview, I want to ask you one thing for the benefit of our young people and all the kids who are watching. We're very big here at Cinekyd, not just on broadcasting, radio, and television, but we're very big on goals. We're very big on achievement. We're very big on sizing it up, determining what you can do, and then going after it. But you know, I find it hard as a father and a grandfather sometimes to always have the answers to give to a kid when he says, but there's a point during the challenge or the struggle where you've been pounded on all sides and you know that it would be so easy to say, I want to give up.
I've had a lot of opposition to this. I mean, from the moment I first mentioned it, people thought it was out of reach. There's no way possible. And I told them, I said, well, if there's no way possible, worst comes to worst, nothing happens, I'm not successful. But as time went on, I started gaining more and more and more towards my goal. Little steps, step by step, and every step I got, it just made me that much more. I wanted it more. And then there was times when I was down. I was off the ballot. People were telling me that it was over.
And how do you keep going then?
All I could do is I just went back and I remembered that one day when I first told people what I was going to do. And I remember how happy I was when I decided my goal, what it would be. And all the like the bad feelings I had when people were putting me down, it didn't measure up to that first day, the first moment of joy I felt. And I just kept looking back to that, and I kept thinking, well, this is bad. I'm down, but I can't see it getting worse. It can only get better. I have to keep trying. Worst comes to worst, it stays the same. If you give up, you know you're going to end with a bad feeling. But if you keep going, there's a chance you have a good feeling at the end. And right now, I have a good feeling, and it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
I'll tell you, your folks should be so proud because, very truthfully, you are a very articulate young person.
Thank you.
You have taken on for yourself quite a challenge. And I think, very frankly, the election is really not the issue because in my book you've won. I am genuinely impressed, as I'm sure most of our viewers are, simply with your dedication and commitment to so worthy a calling. And I congratulate you, and I'm leaning over here talking to Ian's dad, and I'm delighted that you could be with us today. You're the kind of young person that I think all other young people can indeed take a look at as a role model. You can be very proud of what you're doing. And if you are any indication of the way things are going, indeed you will be successful. May we go now from this very impressive discussion to an equally impressive bit of Cinekyd production magic. Here's another rock video. This is called the ambulance song. Now we're going to be honest. This is live, and very, very frankly, I'm the one who said to the producer, "Don't waste the time typing it. You write it." It's the first thing that Tommy wrote that looked to me like so, which may have been some of the opinions you were getting as well.
Yes.
Okay. So here we go, and these are for those who said to Ian, "No, you can't make it." We dedicate this. Here's the ambulance song.
somebody stood here and looked at you. He kept his eye on you, and that's what friends are for. Monday morning, my head is on fire. My heart feels like a stone. No, it's not a mystery to me. I should have never left you here alone. These dirty dishes and this long distance bill, I did my best to ignore, but you just swept me under the mat outside my own front door. I need some sleep today, but there's another man's shoes beneath my bed. I could relax in my favorite chair, but the seat is still warm from another man. I need to walk through this door, but somebody stood here and looked at you. He kept his eye on you, and that's what friends are for. As the key turned, you must have heard, and knew the time had arrived. Oh, Brian's gonna find me out, but I was there as you slept last night. I leave you this note, I need a couple about, maybe a J or two to calm down, but I'll be back soon, boys and girls, don't you be around. I need some sleep today, but there's another man's pants in my house.
We're back. This is hour 3 of Cinekyd Day 1993. And wherever he is, Ed Sullivan has to be watching and assuming that whoever programmed this particular hour has something for everyone. Not only have we had an opportunity to meet a very fine young man, and later in the hour have an opportunity to meet one of our county leaders who has for decades provided the type of example that we hope for our young people. But with me now is a very attractive young lady, Miss Cindy Montenay. I'm sorry. It's just the fact that I'll be honest with you, I'm sure you've done this before, and I've interviewed lots of children, and I have raised a number of pets, and I've worked with some of the technical staff for decades, but this is awesome. You're from the Philadelphia Zoo. And who has accompanied you today? This is a beautiful, beautiful parrot.
That's right. That's right. I guess we'll
Take it
start with
away.
Jason. Jason is a scarlet
This is
macaw.
Jason.
This is Jason.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. Jason is a scarlet macaw, and he comes from the rainforests of Central and South America. Macaws are the largest of the parrots. And he's about almost 3 feet from the tip of his beak all the way down to his tail feathers.
How old
which
is
will be along.
Jason?
We're estimating that Jason is about 15. So you have to keep in mind that these birds can live to be 80 to 90 years old in captivity.
Oh, my heavens.
So he's just kind of like an adolescent.
I'll be darned.
And spilling his oats, or he's very active.
But he doesn't seem to mind the cameras and the lights.
No, he's kind of a show-off. We recently were on Bill Cosby's You Bet Your Life, and I brought Jason
Really?
with me on there, and he stole the show, as he usually does. He's very at home with lights and flashes and things of that sort. I think he's Doc Hollywood or something. He just gets a kick out of it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
He's preening right now, and that's what he does to help keep his feathers in shape.
Now, is it true with all birds that the male is the more colorful? Is that a popular misconception?
It's a misconception. With a lot of birds, that is true. The male is usually brightly colored to attract a mate, where the female is drab because she's the one that sits on the nest, and so she wants to blend in. It's a type of camouflage. With the macaws, though, both the male and the female are almost identical. And as a matter of fact, you really can't tell if it's a male or female just by looking. A lot of times they almost have to surgically sex them to find out if it's a girl or a boy.
Really? Oh,
So that makes it kind of neat. In their environment, there's a couple different theories of why they're so brightly colored. Some people say it's for camouflage. They blend into the beautiful orchids and things you find in a tropical rainforest high up in the trees. And other people say that it's to attract a mate. Now, don't tell me how they do that, because I'm not really sure if they're both the same color, but it differentiates between the blue and gold macaw or the green-winged macaw, so this way the scarlets stay with the scarlets and don't interbreed. So maybe they
Now,
use it for that purpose.
Jason, to be honest with you, as much as I can tell, seems to be, you're a very, very pretty boy, Jason.
Yes.
You're very, very attentive. Well, you're very welcome. And we're delighted that you're here. Yes, you're
He's
turning
dancing
in.
for us now.
Yeah, very, very pretty.
Thank you.
How do macaws deal with captivity? The fact that they're brought to this. He certainly seems to be very happy.
He's relatively content, but that's an extremely good question. A lot of people purchase these birds both legally and illegally because they're so beautiful, and they don't realize what is involved in taking care of a macaw. They're extremely difficult to take care of.
How so?
In many
Cindy?
different ways. One is the lifespan. If you do know how to take care of them, they're going to be with you maybe for the rest of your life
I
or
see.
longer. Two is this diet. They can't be fed, little parakeets say.
Right.
They want fresh fruits and vegetables, maybe a little bit of meat for protein. They need fresh water. They need a good veterinarian, which might be hard to find because a lot of vets don't take care of these big exotic birds. And if you find one, it might have a nice price tag to go along with it.
So it's not a good idea to have something like this.
I don't recommend it unless you really research, like you should all pets, but really research what's involved in taking care of a macaw. They're very social in the wild, so they travel in large groups, and when you have one as a pet, they expect that social interaction from you. And so that can be very demanding on your time. And if they don't get that kind of love and affection, they get very destructive to your furniture, to your picture frames, and sometimes even to themselves. So I tell people to steer away from the macaw unless they are home all the time and they're really dedicated and know what they're getting themselves into.
You would almost have to build an aviary of some sort, I guess.
That would, ideally, that would be really the best way to go. A lot of people don't have that particular luxury, so they let them fly around their houses. And that can be messy and they can be destructive. But if people do take the time and the energy, they can teach teach them how to talk, and they can be very affectionate. You can touch them and pet them and things of that sort. But keep in mind is if you put them in a bad mood, they can also take your finger off. That's how incredibly strong that beak is.
Yeah, I was looking at his
Yeah,
beak
it's
and
amazing.
Marveling at the size of it.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Yes.
I would say if I had to give them some advice, I'd say please save where they come from. We need to save the tropical rainforest because they're being destroyed so quickly. And so if you like the birds, let's save their habitat. Because this is an endangered
That's a
species in the
lovely
wild.
message. Really?
Yes, it is. They steal, they shouldn't say steal is probably not the accurate word, but they believe that over 100,000 parrots, not just the macaws, are being brought into this country illegally every year. And up to 80% of those could die because of diseases and because
Lord.
they're stressed.
What a tragedy.
So that's the problem. The demand's there but because people just think they're pretty and I can teach them to say, Polly, want a cracker.
Yeah.
And because that myth goes on, this illegal trade exists, and that's a real shame.
A lovely, lovely bird.
Thank you very much.
Is Jason our only guest, or have...
No, I'd like to mention what you see on this is not just for aesthetics, but so we could discuss it briefly if we could.
Surely.
This is a Siberian tiger skin. And this is a confiscated item. You can see he's got beautiful markings. It's a beautiful cat. The Siberian tigers are the largest cats in the world. And their markings are what helps them to survive as a type of camouflage. But sometimes when you have pretty colors, you end up being on a table like this or on the floor or hung on a wall. And a lot of these tigers are poached for their pelt. And this is also an extremely endangered species in the wild. They estimate there might only be 500 to 1,000 Siberian tigers left.
Only 500 to 1,000?
Right. And that might be a high estimate. And they're losing their habitat just like the macaw is in the rainforest. It's losing its habitat in Russia. And so I brought it with me to send a message that, you know, zoos are here so that we can show people animals, get a close interaction relationship going here, but we want them to build respect that they can also use in their daily life to help these things.
There isn't, I don't think there's a parent among us, especially anybody who's grown up in the Delaware Valley, who has not enjoyed the opportunity repeatedly to share the experience of the Philadelphia Zoo. But I think this outreach program and certainly this educational program benefits all of us.
I hope
Not
so.
just the species, but I think mankind.
Well, it
because we
builds
don't look at-
respect for each other. It builds respect for the place that you live. So I think it's not just the lessons that we learn through animals don't just stop with the animal. It goes with the human being as well. And we are animals too, and sometimes we forget that particular aspect.
Yes, we do.
So it's important that we keep that in mind. So all the way across the board, it can be a positive thing.
That's fantastic.
But I do have another friend for you if you'd like to see him.
Okay, yes. Let's
we see
take a
another
moment
one?
here. Let's adjust our schedule.
Oh, if you would.
Did you bring your lunch, Cindy?
No, I brought my pillowcase. I'm going to take a nap here, I decided, if that's all right with you. Now, actually, this is the way I travel with one of my other good friends here. And this is a ball python. I see you leaned away.
Yes, I did, yes.
Not very fond of snakes?
No.
Oh, they're wonderful animals.
Are they really?
Oh. Have you ever touched a snake before?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
And how did it feel?
Well, we're very dry.
It's
I was
very dry.
surprised. Very dry.
That's right. It's not
very-
slimy
yes,
or
no,
what.
No.
If you see a snake in your backyard, it's important to keep them around because they usually are controlling your rodent population or your insect population. So they're very good to have
no,
around.
Cindy, I would never harm a snake.
Yeah.
I would give it a wide berth, and it's certainly beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm genuinely impressed.
Thank you. This is another rainforest animal, but he comes from the rainforests of West Africa. It's a ball python. He lives up in the trees in the rainforest. So he has his problems in the wild too. But I guess I would like to encourage everybody to come out to the Philadelphia Zoo, see our new exhibits, see some of our new babies. We just had a baby gorilla born and a baby giraffe. And we have a brand new exhibit that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but it'll be something very big in June. So I hope everybody will come out to see us because this is just not for kids.
I'm just so indeed it is not,
not.
and I'm so
All
pleased that
ages.
you could be with us
Well,
and
thank you.
brought Jason and what's the name?
His nickname is Monty Python.
Oh, Monty.
Not all that
Python.
unique,
Right.
but
and now for something completely different.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. We appreciate the opportunity to come out and
Oh
talk to you.
no, you have absolutely made Cinekyd Day.
Thank
you. You're so articulate and
Well,
such
thank
a
you.
marvelous presenter.
Thank
And
you. I love what I do.
Yeah,
I'm very lucky.
it shows.
Thank you.
And I think all of us have enjoyed the visit. And I'm, just kidding. Ever since I think I read the book of Genesis, I've had a great fear of snakes.
That's
I've
the problem.
avoided apples too.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank Cindy and Jason and Monty for being with us. And what can I say? This is absolutely marvelous. And I encourage all of you to go out and visit the Philadelphia Zoo. It's not only a great place, but it is indeed a marvelous opportunity to share all of the wonders of mankind. This world is not so big as we sometimes think it is.
That's right.
Right now, though, we're going to visit our zoo, as it were, and take you on a remote, yes, here comes one of my grandchildren, Jake the Fake. Take it away, Jake.
(1993) Cinekyd Day, and back from the Willow Grove Mall, eating a hot dog, it's Tom McGill.
Hi, Jake.
Hi. How you doing, Tom?
Excuse me eating. This is the first thing I've had to eat all day.
What's going on over at the mall today?
Funny you should ask that. I just have my little list of mall activities in front of me.
Woo!
And let's see. It's 12:30. At 1 o'clock, Cinekyd WRDV 89.3 live radio show. They're going to be broadcasting. It's going to be live on tape. And then we have Wanda Hamilton Dance Studio performing. The list is endless.
Well, everybody, turn off your TV sets, run down to the mall, and check it out.
No.
Well, don't turn off your TV sets. You can leave them on. It won't make a difference. And we're here also with Jason and Becky. They're cooking for all the fine Cinekyd students. How are you today, Jason?
I'm just fine. How are you today, Jake?
I'm just fine. Well, what sorts of activities have you participated in today?
Well, a little bit of basketball, we played a little bit of dodgeball, which no one got hurt, I'm glad to say. But we did have a lot of fun and activities.
Okay, well, this is the 1993 Cinekyd Day on the Comcast Cable Network, channels 40 and 42. And right now, we're going to go to something completely different. I don't know what, but I'm sure it's something good. Whiplash! Let's check out a video, one of Cinekyd's films, Whiplash, on Cinekyd Day.
I assure you that El Diablo was only a threat to this town. El Diablo. The sheriff is doing all he can about the sheriff.
Where's the sheriff?
Over there. Oh, yeah.
Sheriff, deputy. We have your downs, children. Your school teacher, your dressmaker. One by one.
Nice.
What is he doing?
Ringo. Sí, El Diablo. The little one.
No, Billy. Billy. Billy! Anna, no, please. Anna, there's nothing you can do. It's all right. No, there's nothing you can do.
Slaying.
Papa? Papa? Don't kill them.
Sure. Where you going?
Where have you been?
I just catch the ones that can't get away.
Good job.
Diablo, the horses. Where are they? We will run to the mountains. They will not follow us there. Jenny! We still have your dressmaker and your brother. If you should follow us, they will die.
No, we're already there. They're counting in this ear, and here I am. And wasn't that interesting? The video was great. It was one of the first international award winners that Cinekyd had. You'll see a clip from the film that we exhibited at Cannes. We're the only student group. We've won more international production awards now than probably any other children's group. For an organization to be nominated for an Academy Award. Our boys and girls have a lot to be proud of. Throughout the course of the day, we've invited, or actually the young people have put together the guest list, and as I keep saying repeatedly, we have asked folks who we feel, if they are not, like Mr. Masucci, folks who have been with us for a while, but individuals who the kids have either seen in operation or read about, we feel, the board feels, set the kind of standard that we'd like our boys and girls to emulate. That probably characterizes our next guest, Montgomery County Commissioner Mr. Joseph Huffle. And those of you who have lived in the community for any length of time know that before he took the challenge of running for and staging a very successful campaign and becoming a commissioner at the county level. In the community of Ashland, the commissioner was involved with local politics, public service for a number of years. He is one of those individuals who, as I said to him before we began, seemed to us to have always had a very clear set of goals and objectives. And as he faced the challenges and moved ahead in his own personal mission, he has not compromised his commitment to public service. Without further ado, and without keeping going on and impressing him with how much of a student of his political career and his accomplishments we are here, may I present, and I'm delighted that you're here, Commissioner Joe Huffle. Joe, welcome to Cinekyd.
Very
Thanks
nice to be
much
here. I
for
wish
coming.
you'd continue with your introduction. Sounded great.
Well, then, let me ask you something. At what point in your life did you decide that you would become involved in the arena of politics, or that you would run for public office? College, really?
In 1972, I was in university. I became very attracted to the presidential campaign of George McGovern, who was running for the Democratic nomination for president at that time. He was primarily an anti-war candidate, speaking against the Vietnam War. And at the time, I thought that was a very solid position, and I admired what he had to say. So as a college student, I began to volunteer for his presidential campaign and used to take the campaign bus up to New Hampshire on the weekends from Boston to go door to door among the electorate in New Hampshire during the New Hampshire primary in, I guess it was February of '72. That's how I got started with a grassroots approach to a national campaign.
What was your first, your own first election? What did you run for?
I first ran for state representative from Abington when I was 23 years old in 1974. I ran against the Republican incumbent and lost. In 1976, he retired, and I ran again and won in that year. And then I served 8 years in the state legislature.
What for you was the most gratifying part of serving in the state legislature? Let me first ask the question, was it what you had anticipated? You're a very young person getting into politics. Was it what you had hoped it would be?
It was more. It was better than I'd hoped it to be.
All right.
Public service is just a fascinating and thrilling thing to do because when in office you have an opportunity to make decisions, to cast a vote or make a ruling if you're a judge or whatever it may be that affect the lives of people. And you realize you have a great responsibility to do that, not just based on your own views, but you have an obligation to reach out and try to determine what your constituents are in favor of. But ultimately, the decision does come down to you, the elected official, because on most issues, half of your constituents are on one side of the question and half are on the other. Or maybe I should say a third are on one side, a third on another, and a third might not care at all about that particular question. And you just have to make a decision based on all that input and your own set of values. And it's a wonderful obligation and opportunity to give something back to the community.
You spoke of your early interest in politics, and of course it occurred at a time when the country, coming out of the 60s, there were a lot of young people who had very strong beliefs about the responsibility of government, of what really mattered in the world. You served at the state level. You're now involved with county government. From that vantage point, do you find that our young people here in Montgomery County have the same kind of interest in government or politics today that you first experienced some 20 years ago?
That's a great question. I think that since the 60s there was a lot of cynicism about politics and government and a falling off of interest that I think is turning around today. And I think young people are becoming interested again in public service. I think that the well-known problems of the 60s, the assassination of President Kennedy and the other problems we had, really hurt the entire country in their view toward politics. It made people cynical and disappointed and disenchanted. I think that's turning around in large measure because I think President Clinton offers a new vision, a willingness to grasp change and try to change the focus of the country. I don't make that as a partisan statement, really as almost a generational statement. He's following in office a very good man, President Bush, who gave years of dedicated service, but by the end of his service was viewed, I think, as a representative of the status quo, much like John Kennedy followed a national hero, yes, Dwight Eisenhower, but President Eisenhower at the time was viewed as someone who simply was a caretaker.
Very apt comparison.
And President Kennedy and now President Clinton, able as a function of their younger years perhaps and their freshness to the national scene, to inspire people to get involved. So I hope that that's happening because the young people...
The reason I prefaced that, though, was, and you're taking the question exactly where I hoped you would, my point was that seeing things for 8 years at the state level back down here, and county is certainly not grassroots because this is a big county, but the picture that you paint of the change, the national shift, do you see the desire for change inspiring or re-inspiring or canceling out some of that cynicism here in Montgomery County?
Yes, I do. County government has for years been operating very quietly without much public attention in Norristown. And most people in the eastern part of the county know a lot more about Philadelphia local government than they do about their own county government. That's primarily a function of the Philadelphia TV and radio stations that primarily cover the mayor and the city council. But people are becoming more aware. The 1991 election for county commissioner on both the Republican side and the Democratic side represented a victory for people who were running to change the then county government. One of the interesting things that I can say that demonstrates this public awareness and increased interest, we have a number of boards and commissions made up of volunteers who serve at the county level on a variety of boards. Trustees of the community college, prison trustees, geriatric center trustees, and the like. And those have generally been filled by the county commissioners without much public input. Well, this past winter we had 88 positions open. These are non-paying positions for people to get involved. And we advertised in the paper for the first time, asked for people to send in resumes. We got 900 resumes. In the past, these positions were filled without anybody being aware that they even existed. So there's 900 people who for the first time responded to something in the paper saying, I'd like to serve county government in this voluntary position. Now, we filled 88 positions and disappointed 810 people, but they're involved and we'll keep them involved, I hope.
Let me ask you, as we bring our discussion to a close, and I hope you'll come back sometime, because I really would like the boys and girls to have an opportunity to share with you some more. Would you, based upon your experience, be willing to share one little piece of advice perhaps with our young people based on either your own experience, perhaps in politics? What suggestion would you care to make in terms of helping them to choose a goal or set a goal, or perhaps even consider something that involves less profit making and more public service?
Well, I would urge people to get involved in public service, particularly young people. It's a wonderful calling where you can exercise your own judgment and do the right thing for your community. Every vote counts. Every individual can have impact in the political process. And it's a great way to give something back to the community you grew up in. And I hope we'll get more people running for office.
I thank you so much, Commissioner Joe
My
Huffle,
pleasure.
who took time from his busy Saturday to be with us, and I promise you that the Commissioner will indeed be returning, because, as I said, he's someone who is part of this part of Montgomery County and has had a very distinguished career of public service, and this is the kind of adults that we really feel that our youngsters should have a chance to share with. And now, if we could, we're going to go to a remote from, Before, let me say this, that coming up immediately after this next package will be our next guest, the one and only good friend of Cinekyd District Justice F. Elaine Burkhoff, who sort of makes these events special just simply by being here. And now we're going to see what our friends are doing at the Willow Grove Park Mall. Let's watch.
Welcome back to the Willow Grove Park Mall. We are here all day. There's entertainment going on continuously. With us now is Tiffany and Monica, and they are with the Willow Grove Style Squad. Now, what did you guys have to do in preparation for your appearance here today?
Well, we to make the whole modeling Style Squad, we had to enter an application and show them pictures, and then we had to go for an interview, and then they sent us a letter to tell if we made it or not. And then for this, we had to come and rehearse for it and try on the clothes, and we're here.
Yeah. How much rehearsing was involved in this? Do you do a set routine, or is this something new that you're trying out?
Actually, we've been rehearsing for about a day for each rehearsal. We try on clothes and we do our moves. And we have a rehearsal one day before the actual fashion show.
Mm-hmm. Now, what exactly are you guys going to be demonstrating for the audience here at the mall today?
Aerobics wear, shorts, casuals, the 70s styles and the grunge look.
70 styles?
Yeah.
What do you think's more popular, style-wise? I mean, because everyone said the 70s would come back. It's really, really disgusting.
Yeah. Bell bottoms and the tight short, merry-go-round basically. Yeah.
Now, where do you get your clothes from? Do you have mall stores sponsor you?
Yes. We have mall stores sponsoring us from all over. Just to name several, it's Merry-Go-Round, Brooks, and Limited, some other stores, and Gap, and they just all sponsor us and give us clothes for us to model.
Now, if someone was interested in joining up the Style Squad, what procedure would they have to, who would they have to contact in order to be a member?
Our Pam, the head, I guess you would say, Pam George.
Pam George, and you get the application at the mall management office, and the age limit is 13 to 20. And all you have to do is pick it up. It's on a table at the mall management office at Willow Grove, and Pam George should get back to you on it.
Yeah.
Now, are you both in school?
Yeah.
What school do you go to?
North Penn Junior High, 8th grade.
8th grade.
And Pembroke Middle School, 7th grade.
7th grade. Is this something you think you might want to do as a career, modeling, perhaps?
Definitely, yeah. With, show business, singing, dancing.
What personal rewards do you get from modeling?
I get the input back on the audience, how they feel about me, and it gives me more experience to handle an audience, because sooner or later I probably want to pursue into musical theater.
Yeah. Is it a very pressurized kind of a...
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to everyone. We're glad you guys could be a part of Cinekyd and the Willow Grove Mall this year and help us out. Good luck to you. And you guys are on at 11:30 till 12. So if you can, stop by. It's going to be a great show. And what we're going to do now, thanks guys, we're going to go talk to Johnny. He's a Cinekyd staff member, and he's also helped setting up for a live radio show. Johnny, how's it going?
Pretty good. Everything actually works, believe it or not, which is unusual.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I think everything's going to go real well.
Yeah. Now, when will this air? If people watching want to know when they could hear the live Cinekyd radio show.
It's going to air live on tape on WRDV at 3 p.m. So we hit the show that we tape live here will air at WRDV at 3 p.m. So tune in. It's 89.3 FM, and it hits the whole area. I believe at Trenton, Sellersville, Willow Grove. You should definitely be able to pick it up. And the kids are going to do a tribute to Dick Tracy.
Ooh, it's nothing better than a Dick Tracy tribute. I was just going to ask you what kind of things are they going to be doing?
Yeah, it's a mystery, and it was a tribute to the old radio series, which were done in the 30s and 40s. And this is like a shoot 'em up, cops and robbers kind of Dick Tracy saves the day special. So stay tuned. It's really exciting.
Well, thank you, John. I just want to give you an idea of what's coming up today. At 1 o'clock, we have the live Cinekyd TV show, or live Cinekyd radio show that John just spoke about. 2 o'clock, we have the Wanda Hamilton Dance Company. They're coming in, and I said earlier, they were here this morning. They look great. They really have a really good-looking show. At 2:30, we have the Abington Police K-9 unit. I made a mistake earlier. I said it was the crime prevention. It's not. It's the Abington Police K-9 unit. They're going to be here with a couple dogs. I think they're going to be showing a video. That's going to be really interesting. We have Jerry Robbins, the flower guy, at 3, and B. Dalton is at 3:30. Lou Tilley is at 4 o'clock. KYW Lou Tilley. It's a day packed full of fun and excitement from the mall. If you can, stop by, and I'm going to send it right back to you guys at the studio. Bob?
I'll tell you, he's doing a great job. They all are. Our thanks to Tommy and John, and I think our producer in fact, I know our producer down there, Mr. Dan Oceanreither, doing a fabulous job. I want to remind you again that this hour of the 1993 Cinekyd Day program is being brought to you, is being sponsored by the Frontier Beef Company, and we're really grateful for their support. Our technical directors are Mr. Ralph Abbott and Mr. Rich Canizero, and our producer this hour is Jeff Feldman, and I'm really impressed. We have Beth Kazera on camera, Chris Cole, and inheriting the job of floor manager, a member of our staff, a graduate of the program, who has been here since he was a boy and is still only 27, Mr. Bob Cole. At this point, we have as a guest someone who has visited us, thank goodness, on a number of occasions in the past. We've met a number of gentlemen here with me in the studio is a lady whose career is an example that we hold up to many of our students, because nothing comes without a price and nothing comes easily. And imagine someone who is willing to train to become a teacher, who runs for office and serves on school board as a local commissioner, and then continues her education in the process, becoming a member of the bar, a distinguished attorney, served as an assistant district attorney, and then decides to continue a career in public service and successfully campaigns and won again as district justice. Moreover, she has been eminently successful as the mom of 3 fine young men. All of her efforts, though, a lot of them behind the scenes, it's the little stuff, the kindnesses, the caring that never makes the newspapers, have made her a very special part of the circle of friends who have operated Cinekyd. So we were very proud. In fact, a number of us made it to the 1993 Chamber Distinguished Citizen Awards Banquet to see Judge Burkhoff and her colleague, Judge Morgan, receive the proper recognition on that evening. And before, Elaine is squirming because she doesn't like to be paid a lot of compliments. Before we begin chatting with each other, I'd like to share with you a clip from that very special night. Here then is a clip from the 1993 Chamber Awards Banquet. Let's watch.
But I just want to say I'm very humbled and honored to receive the Humanitarian Award tonight. I want to say that it wouldn't have been possible without the help of all the many people from the community, all the organizations that were mentioned tonight, and my family and all my friends who are here. And I thank all of you because you all made it possible. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again, and I'm so pleased that you could be with us, Your Honor.
I'm so pleased to be here and to help you celebrate Cinekyd Day 1993.
We have managed to share a number of Cinekyd activities because your oldest son actually, and we keep telling the story, except now he's like Mr. Cole over here. He's part of the founding element.
Actually, he's 28.
He's 28.
Not 27.
Okay. He stopped at 27.
But he was one of the original Cinekyds.
That's right.
It was 18 years ago. He
Yes.
was 10 at the time.
That's right.
And became involved in the program when it was in your basement, I believe.
Absolutely.
And went on to, even though he did not major in media arts in college, he continued to have an interest, and still does, in photography and filmmaking.
All 3 of your sons established their own objectives and their own goals and go after stuff. You have done the same. How do you determine what it is that you want to do? How do you know what the next step is?
Well, I don't think I've always known what the next step is going to be, but I think it's important to sit down and see where you are in life and where you want to be, what your interests are, what you enjoy doing, and then determine what goals you must set to reach wherever it is you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then determine whether it's a realistic goal, and then, of course, the most important thing is hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Any goal you set is going to require a lot of hard work.
How challenging is it to become a lawyer? How?
For me, it was a challenge, especially challenging because I had young children at the time. So,
And you had already one career.
Right, I had been a teacher.
Right.
But I had to take care of my children and run a household and do the sorts of things I'd been doing before I went to law school. So in terms of scheduling my time was probably the most difficult thing. I still had scheduled doctor's appointments and dentist appointments for my kids. And The house suffered, obviously. There were a lot of things that suffered, but I think my kids were very proud of what I did. And I enjoyed...
You work a lot with young people.
Right, and I enjoyed going to law school. I found it a lot of fun, particularly as an older student. I was able to think that this isn't the be-all and end-all, and that I would get through the program, and I tried to enjoy the courses as I went along. Some of the younger people, I think, saw it strictly as a goal. They needed to get that degree to get on with their lives, and I didn't see it that way. I tried to enjoy it a little more, as some of the other older students in the class did.
You have, instead of entering into private practice, though, essentially returned to, while serving as a justice, you are still, though, involved more in what we would consider the public service element. You're part of the community. And
I've always been interested in public service, and from the time I started 20 years ago, I think once you become involved in public service, you're there for life. It becomes a way of life for you. It's just so rewarding, the things you do and the people you meet, and I think all the public servants that I know have been involved for a long, long time.
I was starting to say, as you were talking about your youngsters, that even today you are involved with young people. And in some instances, not always in the most pleasant of circumstances. Each of our guests has offered a comment about what would help, perhaps, in this day and age. Certainly, based upon your experience, you must be drawing some conclusions about the general kinds of things which would keep youngsters from breaking the law or confronting the kind of conflicts that bring them professionally to your attention. What suggestions could you make to them, or perhaps to their parents, about the course of their lives?
I think the difference I see between the kids who get into trouble and the kids who don't, and I'm talking about serious problems and not little incidents that happen to all kids sometime in their lives, is that the kids that don't get into trouble are the kids that are involved. They're involved with their families, they're involved with their communities, their schools, they keep busy, and I think that gives them a certain amount of satisfaction, it gives them self-confidence, and that prevents them from taking the wrong track and getting maybe in with a bad crowd and getting into some bad activities. So I would encourage parents to encourage their kids to become involved in activities like Cinekyd, of course, and sports when they're in school, and any kind of community activity. I think that's very important, and I would encourage young people to consider some sort of community service as almost a necessity sometime in their lives. Because I think they all get a lot from their communities, and they really owe it to pay them back in some way with some service.
On the same note, and I wanted to sort of conclude our little conversation with one point. You indicated your oldest son, Tim, still maintained an interest in the arts, and I know yourself that you're someone who appreciates music and art.
But let me say, I'm totally useless with the camera.
Well, there are many of us loving good music and being able to carry a tune are frequently, two different things.
Right.
But we today see a lot of emphasis, as it has been for a long time, on the more athletic pursuits. And I'm just wondering if, in your opinion, perhaps there ought not to be a little more room for some things that are more of an artistic nature.
Well, I think that's true. I think our society really does not value the arts. If you look at the money that goes to support the theaters and the orchestra, compared with sports and the attendance, I think that's something that should be encouraged at a lower level. Certainly from grade school on, we ought to be encouraging kids to go to the theater and go to the orchestra, become involved in music. I think every kid should be exposed to a musical instrument of some sort.
Yes, yes.
Not all kids are going to end up playing an instrument, but I certainly think they should be exposed to it. And I know we do in our school system expose kids to music and the arts, and I think that's a very important thing.
It is indeed. What do they say? If meat provides the sustenance, that we must also make certain that there are enough of the spices that provide for a very full life. And again, I want to emphasize that Judge Burkhoff has been connected with our program for a number of years as a parent, but more than that, through the years, she is, as I said, the kind of role model that we look for our boys and girls, people who are willing to face a challenge, who are willing to work hard, and people who constantly set and reset goals for themselves. And we're delighted. This is a beautiful Saturday, and most people, the first really great weekend we've had in a long time, and folks who have a busy schedule like hers have a lot of other things to do, and to take the time to come on down and share part of the Saturday with us is something we appreciate, and it's very typical of your kindness, and I am very grateful for it.
Well, I'm very happy to be here, to be invited, and with that fantastic introduction, I shall certainly come back again. But I want to wish you lots of luck for Cinekyd Day 1993, and it's a wonderful program, and I know how much the kids benefit from it.
That's very kind of you to say so. With that, we are now, let's see, we're going to share with you a little bit of music. Well, we were talking about music, and in the loosest sense of the word, some of this popular music qualifies as music. Here's one done by our teenagers. 1993, track rock concert selection, Remember the Time. Let's watch.
Young and innocent then. Do you remember how it all began? It just seemed like heaven, so I did it. Do you remember back in the fall? I bet you remember again. I bet you're already long. Do you remember us holding hands? I remember we just as we stand. Time when we fell in love. You remember the time when we first met, girl. Remember the time when we fell in love. Do you remember the time? Do you remember how we used to talk? You know, we'd stay on the phone at night till dawn. Do you remember all the things we said? I love you so I'll never let you go. Do you remember back in the spring? Every morning birds would sing. Do you remember those special times? The thoughts go on in the back of my mind. Remember the time we fell in love. You remember the time we
Perhaps you are right.
No! 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 Billy! No!
50 cents!
No!
If not for these three, then perhaps for the boy.
No! No! Don't let him do it!
Go now, I've become impatient.
No.
Bring back the torches. Or...
Billy! Mr. Travis! I'm sorry, I stole the cigars! Chico! Chico!
Chico. Go away.
No, Papa. Chico!
If there's anyone to be killed, let it be me, not the children. It's more my fault than anybody else's that you're here. If there's any sacrifices to be made, let it be me.
But, as you wish, Senor Sheriff. Gunfire! Toby! He's mine! Butcher, your horses.
They're down there in the bushes. I'll never see them.
Good. I want you in these bushes. And Butcher, whatever happens, Reed must die. I've been waiting for you, Toby Reed. I knew you would come. It has been a long 2 years. And now, it is time to settle the score.
Anytime you're ready. I'm beholden to you, Sheriff. You saved my life.
Just doing my job. They're dead for sure.
This time.
You're hurt.
I'll be all right.
The other one. He's over here.
Let's leave. We'll go back to town. I'll fix your arm.
In a couple minutes. I'm gonna bury these myself.
Here we go. This is the 4th hour of the 1993 Cinekyd Day celebration. I'm Bob Clark, and this hour is brought to you by probably Stephen Rumpf Plumbing and Heating Incorporated. If there was ever a friend of Cinekyd, it's Steve Rumpf. If you run a kids organization, it's like running a big house. And there are 9 bathrooms here at Cinekyd. We have the most astounding array of difficulties. Here's a guy and here's a business that has adopted us, thank goodness, and taken really, really good care. We thank them for their support, continued support. Graduate of Upper Moreland School District, local businessman Steve Rumpf. Now, also coming up at the top of this hour, another one of our distinguished guests. With me, of course, member of the Upper Moreland School Board, Mrs. Emily Grotner, and we're going to be talking with Emily in just a few moments, so stay with us. Right now, though, we're going to share with you some 1993 track music in the form of a video done by our track kids. Those are the kids who, again, with track are our teenagers, junior and senior high, Tyro the elementary age kids, and here we have MTV kinds of projects where they select the music, they choreograph the activity, design the sets, do the costumes, and then do the final editing. This is a recent package. In fact, many of the kids in today's activities haven't even seen these videos. This one is to that classic bit of, I don't know who invents these titles, honestly. You know, I go back to Moonlight and Roses and, you know, Glenn Miller and a little bit of Eddie Fisher, but here's, is it Yo Mama? Let's watch.
Bell with handcuffs, the sack. Your mama smokes crack. She got a burning yearning and there's no turning back. Her knuckles drag down to the ground when she walks. Spit comes out that when she talks. Naked on a mountaintop, shooting on a fizzle. Riding on a horse, drinking whiskey out of bizzle. She got the wings and teeth of an African back. Her middle name is Mud Bone, and on top of all that, your mama got a glass eye with the fish in it. Your mama got a glass eye with the fish in it. Your mama got a glass eye with the fish in it. Your mama look like she's been in the dry with the rocks, with the big bus nose sucking dirt out of socks. Held up the ice cream truck with the slingshot. She grabbed a bag of cheese, corn, and a soda pop. And mama rootin' stole my loot and my soup. Today have the muscles, but no, she's not cute, she's not pretty. Oh, what a pity, got the glass filled up with Kool-Aid. Just for the kiddies on the cliff, butt naked, zoomed on the flute. Riding on a horse, drinking whiskey out of boots. She got the teeth and the wings of an African back. Her middle name is Mudbone, and on top of all that, your mama got the wooden legs. Your mama got the wooden legs. I said your mama got the wooden legs. Your mama. I'm thinking about your mother do a funky beat. I went to your house and she licked me on the cheek. I said, excuse me, lady, but I remember seeing you at the Palladium way back in September, cause you was beatboxing for Lou Rawls in some bright red boxer drawers. You said your mom's was pretty and young, but she's old as dirt and got hair on her tongue. Your mom. She uses roots, and I saw her riding a horse. She's drinking whiskey out of boot. She's got the wings and teeth of an African bat. Her middle name is Mudbone, and on top of all that, your mama's got a peg leg with a kickstand. Your mama's got a peg leg with a kickstand. I said your mama's got a peg leg with a kickstand. Your mama. Your mom is so fat. How fat is she? We bought up on her back to get some burgers from Wendy's, and her skates went flat. I got stuck in her.
Think about it.
They thought I was lost, but I was caught by the G-strap. Heaven forbid a giant part would give way, cause that would blow me around the world in a day. We drove her to the drive-in and she didn't have to pay because we dressed her up to look just like a Chevrolet. Naked on a mountaintop, shooting on a blizzard, riding on a horse, drinking whiskey out of bizzle with the wings and the teeth of an African bat. Her middle name is Mudbone, and on top of all that, your mama's
was Ya Mama. It was a 1993 track rock concert. We are here at the Cinekyd Broadcast Arts Center. This is the property. Here's Keith. He's here. Say hi, Keith.
Hi.
We've got all sorts of events going on. Call in. We need your support. The number here is 215-659-4698. Call in a pledge, 659-4696. We need the support for our summer program. We got a great summer coming up. All sorts of events. It's going to be great. Right, Keith?
Yep, it's going to be awesome.
What are you looking forward to, just about this summer?
Just everything. It's going to be an awesome summer.
It's going to be great. All sorts of events all day. We're at the mall. WDRE 103.9 is going to be coming. They're going to be doing a radio show for us. And WRDV 89.3, if you turn on your radio right now, Cinekyd Radio Playhouse is on. If you want, you can stay tuned. Or please stay tuned. And let's go to the studio now.
It's incredible. I don't know where he gets the gestures from, though. That's our guy, Jake, and he is doing a fantastic job. I'm sort of surprised because I didn't know, who was going to be sharing some of the video duties, and Jake is, very articulate. With me in the studio is a member of the Upper Moreland School Board, a parent in the community, and a person, as I said, we actually allowed our young people to join with the staff in setting up the roster of folks who would be invited to stop by on Cinekyd Day. But they sort of made up the guest list. And some of the criteria that were established, especially by our veterans, the older youngsters, were to find adults who we keep encouraging the youngsters at Cinekyd to set goals and don't be afraid to work hard to achieve them and what have you. But to find individuals who really do set very high standards, don't always take the routine course of action, and are willing to campaign and champion causes that sometimes people aren't even aware of. With Mrs. Emily Grotner, we have an individual who not only has successfully run for school board and of course is running for re-election, but during her tenure on the board has been involved in a number of programs, one of which was near and dear to the hearts of a lot of these children, and that deals with protecting the earth. And especially in this part of Montgomery County, in saving some of the green areas and planting trees, which interestingly is our big project next door, turning out the parking lot, putting in topsoil, planting trees. More than that, it's nice to have someone who is a parent and who has an active interest in the school district. And imagine being a working parent, having children, and being willing to give up gobs of time in voluntary service on the school board. Welcome, Emily Grotner, to Cinekyd and to Cinekyd Day. We're delighted that you're here. We're so pleased that you'd share your Saturday with us. And can you answer the question, how come someone would be so willing to donate so much time to public service?
Well, thank you, Bob, for asking that. Before I get started, I have to say I appreciate the accolades that you shared today, but I cannot continue without acknowledging the support I have from my family, from my husband and from our two girls. Being involved with the school board and with the school district is a very time-consuming endeavor, as you have recognized, and you really need the support of your family in order to be successful and to put in the number of hours that it requires. I got involved with the district because we had young children who were starting school. At that time, Kirsten, our older daughter, was in kindergarten, and I felt that I wanted to be a part of the decision-making process. There was an opening on the board, and I applied for it, and then subsequently had to run for election. It has been enjoyable. It has been educational. The board gets involved in many more projects and decisions than I ever dreamed possible. But because I wanted to participate in what was going on in the community, I decided to get involved.
What for you has been the most gratifying part of this type of public service? Because you've been involved with parent groups and you have been involved in other community activities. How satisfying is school board service? in the 90s?
Well, school board service is very challenging,
Yes.
and you need to make a lot of decisions that are difficult. You see both sides of the issues, and both sides oftentimes have legitimate claims on financial resources or on time or on the use of facilities, and sometimes you just have to do the best you can and make a decision. But the most gratifying part of being involved in this community is the number of families, the number of parents, the number of citizens who really have the interest of the children at heart and want to provide a wholesome environment, want to provide activities where our children are not involved in drugs, are not involved with alcohol or substance abuse, where they are to bed at a reasonable hour at night, up in the morning, well fed, clothed, ready to come to the educational system and wanting to learn. And I think when they get to our schools, they have teachers and administrative staff who are dedicated to helping them do that.
What do you feel is the greatest challenge or what are some of the challenges that we have to face, well, to prepare children for the next century? Because the education as we know it is changing and has to change. The ways in which services were delivered, popular conceptions, or the kinds of very fond memories we all have of going to school and dealing with teachers. Some of the better things, I guess, or the sweeter things will always remain true, but we are becoming a smaller world. We have to deal with the global nature of our society. How, in your opinion, will we see education change, and what are the challenges that affect the elected people who have to help make those decisions?
Well, there are two challenges, I think. The first one is funding. Unfortunately, in Pennsylvania and in the United States, the amount of funding that's available for education is always under attack. It's unfortunate that our priorities are such that, I guess, education is like in some big corporations. Advertising is the first thing to go when monies get tight. It's easy to hit education often because the children don't have a strong group of people to advocate for them. And so we on the school board have to remember that we are advocates for the children. That's one of our first priorities. The other issue that I think will be affecting education through the rest of this decade and into the year 2000 is, as you mentioned, the shrinking globe. We are becoming more and more of an international society. Interestingly, I heard an educator speak on a radio program about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he made a very good point, and that was the education system in the United States was outstanding when we came from being an agricultural economy to being an industrial society with waves of immigrants who had to be educated, who had to be Americanized, and who needed to get involved in working in an industrial society. Now we're becoming a technical society. The pace of change is increasing. So what we need to do is prepare our young children not to be finished school when they leave the end of 12th grade or even when they finish their baccalaureate degree, but to be prepared to always deal with change, to be educated continually, to always be learning. That's what our educational system must do. I think one of the things we're going to see in education is a greater use of technology, of remote education centers, of using video monitors in the classroom. I learned, since I've been on the school board, that, for example, if you talk about the teaching of Japanese as a foreign language, someone said, well, where do you think, what state in the Union do you think teaches Japanese as a foreign language to more students than any other state in the Union? Well, I thought it's probably Hawaii or California. They're on the West Coast and closer to the Japanese than we on the East Coast. So the answer to that question is Nebraska. Amazing as it may seem. And that's because in Nebraska, they use remote education more than some of the other states. And so Japanese can be taught, for example, at a university center and beamed into local classrooms. The students can ask questions back to the remote center and so on. We're going to be seeing more and more of that type of education as time goes by.
As we conclude our visit, I want to ask one question that, is, I certainly won't say a personal question, but I'm very curious. You are one of the most articulate people. You, No, I mean that, and I'm embarrassing our guests, and I'm not getting a question out properly. But of course, the technology is great, but the essence of good communication is knowing what you want to say and saying it so that other people can understand. To what do you attribute? Did you do a lot of reading? Were you in a situation? Did you used to give a lot of speeches when you were a child? How did you come by your skills? Because they're very polished.
Well, thank you very much. It's interesting. I am an avid reader. I was as a youngster, and still to this day, I read continually. I did not have a lot of opportunities to speak publicly as a child, and I hope that our educational system provides that to our youngsters, because I think it's a very important skill. I have just found myself from time to time in situations where I speak in front of people. I always try to be prepared. I work as an insurance agent, so some of my early training for that profession involved communications, and I've just tried to hone those skills and fine-tune them. To some extent, I have to say, I guess it's a gift. You know, we all have gifts. Some of them are musical, some of them are being able to manipulate mathematical figures, some of them are in speaking, and I enjoy it, and I guess maybe that's a part of it also.
Well, you certainly do it very well, and I'm delighted that on such a beautiful Saturday that Mrs. Emily Grotner and her two lovely daughters would come down and share Cinekyd Day with us. We're delighted, and I can't tell you how ecstatic I am that we have so many wonderful guests who set such great examples for our kids, because that to me means everything.
Before you sign off, may I say, you know, it's a pleasure to be here today, and our family would like to make this contribution to Cinekyd.
Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate that.
It's a wonderful resource here in the community. It's led by masterful people, including yourself, who I recognize you as a guiding spirit, but there are other adults who spend a lot of time here, and I don't want to just recognize you and to leave them out. I know that the organization couldn't continue without their efforts, and it's great to see young people with their energy and their enthusiasm and even their training and their abilities here in this community working for the good.
How kind of you. I really appreciate that. As do all of our staff. Okay, we now share with you. I thank you. Yes. Otherwise, we'll have to get this in Braille. Okay, the 1993. Here's a great video that takes a look at what we're doing this summer. Let's watch.
Hi, I'm Fogelnest. Welcome to Cinekyd. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to make a real movie? Or how about being a superhero? Wouldn't it be great to fly around skyscrapers? Have superhuman strength? What if I told you you could live your dreams this summer here at Cinekyd? You interested? Come with me. This is where most of the magic happens, our full-color TV studio. If you're between the ages of 11 and 18 and have an interest in making real movies, then you won't want to miss out on this chance of a lifetime. For the past 17 years, middle school and high school students have been making movies every summer. Cinekyd has won many awards, and you could be next. Here's a sneak preview at Cinekyd's latest feature film.
First, there was the Man of Steel. Then came the Cape Crusader. And now, a superhero for the next generation.
What was that? He flew right out of the sky. Anyhow, they loved your cape.
If you've ever dreamed about soaring with the birds, and you don't have a fear of heights, then this summer's program's absolutely awesome. I'll be back in a few minutes to tell you all about it. But first, here's my buddy Branton to tell you a little bit about the Cinekyd program and what's to come.
The Cinekyds have been spotlighted on local TV stations and have been endorsed by media professionals. Here's Bob Angelo, Emmy Award-winning writer, producer, and director for NFL films. After touring our production campus and meeting our kids, here's what Bob had to say about Cinekyd.
The exposure that you get to real-life situations, editing tape, doing radio shows, doing public access television, you can't beat this. You know, classroom stuff doesn't mean anything compared to the kind of things you can do here.
Philadelphia's top TV news anchor, Jane Robelo, had this to say about Cinekyd during her recent visit.
Very, very impressed with the people, first of all, here, and with the facilities, and then with the excitement that's here at Cinekyd. And when you get through college, you're really, really ready to get that first job because you have hands-on experience. And so either way, you can't go wrong. So, thumbs up.
This is Cinekyd of tomorrow, a multi-building campus where kids will be able to broadcast TV and radio programs to all other kids all over the world. To most people, this would appear to be nothing more than a concrete platform. But to us Cinekyds, this is a performing arts stage. Behind me is the headquarters for our International Broadcast Center. Our kids are just starting to prepare the building for construction. This is the site where our second full-color studio will be, just like NBC and CNN. In here will be the state-of-the-art recording studios, where the kids will produce shows for the entire nation. This is what Cinekyd looked like years ago. And this is Cinekyd in the 21st century.
Join us this summer and help create Timberwolf 2, Video Arcade of Doom. June 28th to July 30th, Monday through Friday from 9:30 every morning till 4 o'clock every afternoon. Spend 5 exciting weeks this summer making a movie. No experience needed. You'll act in a feature-length film, travel on location, learn how to use high-tech video gear, create breathtaking computer effects, and make dozens of new friends. Just call Cinekyd right now and reserve your spot on this summer's video production team. Call 659-4696. If you want, call and make arrangements to stop by and tour our campus. 659-4696. Help create the superhero of our generation. Cinekyd Summer Movie 93. I'll see you at the Video Arcade of Doom.
Okay, we're back and we're continuing. We're into hour 4. This hour is sponsored by our good buddy Steve Rumpf, Stephen C. Rumpf Plumbing and Heating. We've had a number of interesting guests. I'm going to talk with a gentleman who, and I want all the young people in the audience to listen very carefully, and mothers and fathers, especially those of you who have finally decided that as part of your business or home that you're going to start working with a computer, to listen, I hope that you're going to find this, and I hope this is the first of a couple interviews, because a couple members of our student organization and myself had read about the innovative nature of this gentleman's business, and I think rather than do any teasing, I'm going to ask him to share with you. All I'm going to say is, this is probably one of the most imaginative and creative applications of computer technology that you boys and girls listening are going to be hearing about today. Joining us here at 1993 Cinekyd Day from Fox Management Systems, the founder, Mr. David Cooper. Dave, welcome to Cinekyd Day. Let's just cut to the chase. You have designed software that actually serves very particular needs of, among other things, the entertainment industry.
The music industry mostly. It's a package we designed to take care of some of the money problems that occurred in the early days, especially when the bands toured outside of the United States and in Europe, because of all the different currencies that were involved, and getting the monies taken care of, because a lot of times you're paid in two different currencies. You're paid in the local currency. In England it would be pounds, and then you're paid in US dollars as well. And you got to make sure you have enough pounds when you're in England and enough dollars when you come home. So it was very difficult to track by paper, and the currency conversion rates were crazy. And so we built a computer program to start tracking that. And it just grew from there to the point where now we control their itineraries, which cities they'll go to, in which order they'll play them. You know, why am I in Philadelphia on Friday night and not Allentown on Friday night, and things like that. The ticket counts, the guests lists.
And this didn't exist before. I mean, this is something where you designed the program to fit the unique needs of the music.
That's correct. When we first started working, there wasn't even a PC. So we had a big road case with a large computer in it, and we'd roll it in to the office every day, wherever city we were in, and plug it in and start doing our computing. And then in the early 80s, when the PC came out, we of course jumped on that very quickly. And now, as the computers get faster, they get smaller, and the one I carry around now is the size of a notebook, and it has more power than the big roll-around case that we used in the early 80s.
Some of our kids have taken some basic computer instruction. I can only say that once or twice in my life as an adult, I once or twice attempted to write a program without a great deal of success. How long did it take you to develop? I am probably more impressed maybe than anybody else watching. How long did it take to develop this?
Well, I'm not done.
No kidding.
It never really finishes. That's the neat thing about computers, is that once you accomplish the goal that you set out to, you can always then establish another one. It's something that's constantly growing. I make it easier for people who don't understand computers to use. Mm-hmm. I make it faster. I make the screens have multiple colors so that you can see what you're looking for very fast. It will never really be finished. We're constantly tinkering with it. It's like a car. You know, it's a show car. You can always polish another part, or you can always put another fancy piece on the engine. It's never really finished.
Are staff members of the artists for whom or who make use of this, are they able to use the system, or do the artists contract with your company to provide the service?
Both.
Okay.
Both. We'll really get involved in any level. A lot of times we're hired as a mercenary, if you will, to just come in and handle their money. Other times we'll be hired in a more management-oriented way, where we'll actually help them find out where their best places to play are and go to those places and schedule with the local promoters or schedule with the local venues, the arenas, when we can go into that city.
And again, this is to me what is so fascinating, is the fine detail. You actually, it started with the payments, but it's gone into not only the scheduling, but actually the detail of where, how many seats.
A production advance, that's called. It's very, very technical, especially with the new bigger stages that are coming into play, because today everyone's carrying their own stage instead of going to the Spectrum and renting the Spectrum stage, which is 60 by 30. They're bringing in much bigger stages with multiple levels and all that kind of stuff. And so that creates what they call sight lines, meaning that if you sit in certain seats, you can't see the whole stage.
Right.
So we have to go as far as even locking those seats out of the computerized ticketing system so that they don't sell them so that the kids can see. All the seats we sell, we want the people to be able to see. So we go that far. You have to know how much weight can hang from the roof so that we can fly the sound, which means in the old days we used to put the sound on the stage and you couldn't see around the speakers. Today there's very few stages in the music business that actually have speakers sitting on them. They're almost all hanging from the roof, and that's called flying the sound. And that is a very specific thing where you have to know what the weight restrictions are that you can hang from the roof and how many points do you have to hang cables from so that you can be safe. If one of the cables snaps or one of the something breaks or something, that the stuff won't come tumbling down either on the artist or on the fans. So we're very, very careful and to the details in the future to make sure that no one gets hurt, because that's a big part of my job.
I would love to spend a lot of time, as I said, if you've ever done any kind of computer programming, to me what is mind-boggling is like the data gathering alone, or even knowing what data to gather, and then designing the program that would handle it. But let's have some fun for the viewers whose interests are, I guess, of a name-dropping nature. Who are some of your clients?
Well, my personal favorite's U2. We've been working with U2 for about 10 years. This last tour, it's called the Zoo TV Tour, and it's a huge mix of video and music. They have several very, very large screens on stage. They hook it up to a satellite, and we're able to call a lot of different places. Every night on the last tour in North America, Bono would call the White House every night from on stage, and that was part of the show. And I think that they're starting to break boundaries that other people haven't broken in the past, and I think you'll see a lot more video incorporated into the stage shows. Some of the other people we work with, Whitney Houston, Billy Joel, Van Halen, just lots and lots. We do about 20 or 30 tours a year where they contract us to do some kind of management for them. From the littlest bands that are just breaking today, like Blues Traveler, right on up to the big ones.
You're a groundbreaker yourself, though.
Yeah, we've broken a lot of ground, and a lot of people have tried to copy what we've done, and they haven't had the success because we put together a team of individuals, and that's really what makes us good, is the fact that I have a hardware guy who works with us, and he could take apart anything that has a transistor on it and solder it back together, and I can't do that. And then we have another guy whose specialty is actually making the screens be very simple to use, so that once we design the stuff, I want to see this piece of information on the screen and this piece of information on the screen. He'll make it so that you can read it very clearly and get to it and change it if it needs to be changed. And so it's that team of multiple people that really make it as successful as it's been.
I'm delighted personally, and I think some of our staff were very pleased that we were finally able to catch up with Mr. Dave Cooper of Fox Management Systems. As I said, we're going to stick with him now, and down the road we'd love to do a more extensive interview, because I genuinely am impressed first with the creativity not only of his team but himself, and this marvelous application of technology. I really appreciate your coming by, and God bless. I wish you all the luck in the world.
I wish you guys the best of luck. It's something very important.
It is indeed, but very truthfully, you represent where these kids are going to be going, and if it weren't for the pioneers who are willing to see the need and come up with a different way, then there wouldn't be a tomorrow. It's fantastic. I'm delighted. I'm ecstatic with all of our guests. And now, Dave and I are going to take a look at, I think we're going to the mall. Okay, I'm so excited. You know, U2 and all this, he calls the White House. If we can reach the Willow Grove Mall half a mile away, I'd be happier. In fact, I think it's more difficult to get a hold of the mall than it is to Bill Clinton. Let's watch.
Welcome back to the mall. We're here from the 1993 Cinekyd telethon. We're running 10 to 10. We've already seen a fashion show, performers, and did some aerobics to wake up. Now we have Susan Panabaker from the Abington Library. Susan, why don't you first of all tell us a little about the library, some of the services, where they're located, so everybody knows.
Sure. We have two libraries in the Abington Township. The main one is on 611 or Old York Road, right below the hospital. The other one is in our Roslyn branch, which is over in Roslyn near the firehouse. Things that we have available are, besides books, which everybody knows, we have videos, we've got records, CDs. We also have programs that go on. We have different things for adults as well as for children. We have storytime programs, and coming up we'll be having our summer programs. We'll have summer reading club for kids that are first grade and up, and then also we'll have programs for the younger children, story times like I just did, and also a club that they can join and get stickers and stamps for reading, having their parents read to them.
Great. As you people probably missed some of it, Susan, as she mentioned, just did a story time with some frogs, and it was really interesting. We had some kids over here watching it. How did you get into storytelling?
I was always interested in books and kind of got into it that way. We started out as a school librarian and then finished up school and started working at a public library, and that was the department that they had an opening in, and I started working with children and kind of just got into the stories along with it.
What's the toughest part about telling stories to children?
Hoping that you find something that keeps their attention, that you find a good book. Every once in a while, one just doesn't work for some reason, and they're just into La La Land and all gone, and it's like really hard to get them back their attention once it wanders. So you kind of hope that you get a good book the first time.
Great. Why don't you just give us your phone number at the library so everybody knows?
Sure. You can call the library at 885-5180, and we're open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then on Saturdays we're open 10 to 5, and Sundays we're open 2 to 5.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Susan. And we're going to be having some more acts. Setting up behind me will be the Cinekyd students, and they're going to be doing a live radio show. It's going to be heard on 89.3 FM. WRDV, and if, of course, you want to take a walk with me, good cameraman, we're going to sneak back and see how they're doing, getting ready here. As you can see, we have you on. Some of the other activities we're going to have the K9 unit from Abington Police Department, and they'll be here. Here we got some people setting up for the radio show. Let's find out. And your name?
My name is Ari Fleischman, and I'm going to be working with sound effects.
Okay, why don't you tell them a little about the radio play you're just getting ready for?
Well, we're just setting up the major gear for the audio and the stage, and that's basically it.
What radio play are you doing?
What radio play? We're doing Under Dick Tracy.
And what kinds of things do you do with sound effects? I mean, people don't know, they just figure it's already there.
We just monitor the levels, and we use these over here. These are the live sound effects, and the CDs over here, which we will put in this player.
What's the toughest part about doing a live radio show?
Well, all the people that are going to be here, you get a little nervous, tensed up, and just making sure everything goes right.
Great, okay. And like I said, we're going to be bringing you bits and pieces from the mall all throughout the day till 10 o'clock tonight. And come on down. We're at the Willow Grove Park Mall in Willow Grove. If you need directions, call 659-4696. Or if you want to make a pledge, don't forget, this is a telethon. We're trying to raise money for student programs for the Cinekyds. So call us at 659-4696. Or you can come down to the mall and dump some money in our wishing well here. Okay? And I'm going to turn it back to the studio now. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. They're doing a wonderful job at the Willow Grove Park Mall. And those of you who are watching us at the location, hope you're enjoying the show. I want to take this moment to thank our friends at the Willow Grove Park Mall and all of the merchants who are part of probably what is the most beautiful shopping center, probably in the state of Pennsylvania, for making us feel so welcome. The mall management has been extraordinary. We've had a chance during the past 20 years to work with a lot of people in and out of the profession, and I have to say, without exception, that the management and the merchants at the Willow Grove Park Mall have been so gracious to the young people, to the members of our staff, and they've certainly gone a long way into making this 1993 Cinekyd Day one of the best that we've ever had. Okay, we are now going to, all right, let me tell you about this video. This is absolutely positively what you will, this is the most unique, we use the word package, that means an edited videotape. We have a youngster in our Tyro program, and he's about 9 years of age. His name is Ari Greenberg. And he's done some little theater. He's a very, very handsome young fella, very talented performer. And we try to come up with something that would give him a chance to use those very special God-given talents. And in this number, we suggested to Ari that perhaps instead of doing a lip sync or something like that, that he create characters that would fit the great Steve Lawrence, Edie Gourmet classic, This Could Be the Start of Something Big. Now what you're going to see is one youngster who not only plays both the Steve and Edie roles, but throughout does a parody on many of the heroes and heroines of some of our